welcome to Grandma's cottage in the woods. Have you come to hear a story? Well, then you have come to the right place, haven't they? And Roddy is very excited because today again he gets to play the part of Unc Billy Possum, doing his very famous parlor trick of playing dead. Now, to play Unc Billy Possum, he has to get out of his little blue jacket. You don't mind, do you? Also, he wants me to tell you he doesn't mind hanging from his tail at all. He loves it. He's having so much fun swinging from his tail. He's been asking me to do it with him every day since we did the last one. We've had to go out in the backyard and swing by our tail. Okay, well, I'm glad you're having fun, Ratty. And thank you. Thank you very much for doing this for us. It's helpful. You're a very helpful little rat. Okay, this is the final chapter today of the Adventures of Jimmy Skunk. This is chapter 23. And this one is called Unc Billy Gives Himself Away. Never had Unc Billy Possum played that old trick of his better than he was playing it now. Farmer Brown's boy knew that Unc Billy was only pretending to be dead. Yet so well did Unc Billy pretend that it was hard work for Farmer Brown's boy to believe what he knew was the truth, that Unc Billy was very much alive and only waiting for a chance to slip away. They were halfway from the hen yard to the house when Bowser the Hound came to meet his master. And there's that picture of Bowser the Hound. Now we shall see what we shall see, said Farmer Brown's boy as Bowser came trotting up. If Unc Billy can stand this test, I'll take my hat off to him every time we meet hereafter. He held Unc Billy out to Bowser, and Bowser sniffed him all over. Just imagine that. Just think of being nosed and sniffed at by one of whom you were terribly afraid, and not so much as twitching an ear. Didn't move a thing. Farmer Brown's boy dropped Unc Billy on the ground, and Bowser rolled him over and sniffed at him and then looked up at his master as much as to say, "This fellow doesn't interest me. He's dead. He must be the fellow I saw go under the hen house last night. How'd you kill him?" Farmer Brown's boy laughed and picked Unc Billy, here we go, up by the tail again. There we go. "He's fooled you all right, old fellow, and don't you know it," said he to Bowser as the latter pranced on ahead to the house. The mother of Farmer Brown's boy was in the doorway, watching them approach. "What have you got there?" she demanded. "I declare if it isn't a possum! Where did you kill him? Was he the cause of all that racket among the chickens?" Farmer Brown's boy took Unc Billy into the kitchen and dropped him onto a chair. Mrs. Brown came over and looked at him closer. "Poor little fellow," she said. "Poor little fellow. It's too bad he got into mischief and had to be killed. I don't suppose he knew any better. Somehow it always seems wrong to me to kill these little creatures just because they get into mischief, when all the time they don't know that they are in mischief." And she stroked Unc Billy gently. The eyes of Farmer Brown's boy twinkled. He went over to a corner and pulled a straw from his mother's broom. And then he returned to Unc Billy. And he took that straw and he began to tickle Unc Billy's nose. Mrs. Brown looked puzzled. She was puzzled. "What are you doing that for?" "Just for fun," replied Unc Billy's boy. Kept on tickling Uncle Billy's nose. Now, Uncle Billy can stand having his tail pinched and being carried head down, but being tickled on his nose. Where's your nose? I want to see there. Tickle, tickle, tickle on his nose was too much for him, and he wanted to sneeze. He had got to sneeze. He did sneeze. Achoo! He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it, though it was going to cost him his life. Land of love! Exclaimed Mrs. Brown, jumping back and clutching her skirts in both her hands, as if she expected Unc' Billy would try to take refuge behind them. Do you mean to say that Possum is alive? Seems that way, replied Farmer Brown's boy, as Unc' Billy sneezed again. Achoo! The old sinner's no more dead than I am. He's just pretending. He fooled you all right, Mother, but he didn't fool me. I haven't hurt a hair on him. You ought to know me well enough by this time to know I wouldn't hurt him. He looked at his mother reproachfully, and she hastened to apologize. But what could I think? She demanded. If he isn't a dead-looking creature, I have never seen one. What are you going to do with him, son? Take him over to the Green Forest after breakfast and let him go, replied Farmer Brown's boy. And that is just what he did do. And Unc' Billy wasted no time getting home. It was a long time before he met Jimmy Skunk again. And there's a picture of Unc' Billy meeting his old pal Jimmy Skunk. When he did, Jimmy was his usual good-natured self. And Unc' Billy, he was wise enough not to refer to eggs. And that's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed Jimmy Skunk and Unc' Billy, and remember Reddy Fox, the trouble he got into? And Peter Rabbit, remember the trouble Peter Rabbit got into in that hornet's nest of a home? All those places. Lots of fun. Thank you for coming to the cottage and listening to our story. Come again. We'll do another story sometime. Bye for now. Big bye-bye.